So welcome to the very first Don't Stay In. Today's a bit of a special day. It's the hottest day of the year so far. We come down to a little place called Sleap Airfield, which is just on the outskirts of Shrewsbury, about 9 miles away, and just from not too far away from a little place called Wem. So we come down here to have a look. It's a little airport. It's a fantastic place to come when the weather's lovely. We're going to go and have a look. There looks to be a few little planes out today, so I think we're in for a treat. A couple of little animals around on the outskirts, and little horses and stuff like that. This place has also got a bit of a wartime museum, so we'll get a chance to go and have a look around there. It's a bit old, but it's definitely worth a pop while we're here. So let's get going. Now we're just on the approach to the airport, which is fantastic. It's just out in the country and it is absolutely beautiful out here today. Some nice horses to come and have a look at on the outskirts. Always something good for the kids if you've got the kids with you, and you're always good to feed a bit of grass to the horses. I think they're pretty friendly. We come over last year and they were pretty good, so let's come and say hello. Hello, mate. Eating some grass. You gonna come over and say hello? His grass is obviously better that side of the fence than what I've got my side of the fence. Anyway, let's move on down. It's not too far down here, it's just a couple of minutes walk, and already I can see right in front of me, just in the distance there, I don't know if the camera can pick that up, which I don't think it can yet. We can see a couple of aeroplanes outside parked up. One looks pretty old, one looks kind of wartime, so it'd be interesting to come up and have a look today. Let's have a look on what we got here. What we got here? The grass looks nice to their side of the fence, that's the problem. You coming then? Okay, so we're just standing just outside Sleap Airport now, and as you'll see just behind me over the back, over my shoulder there, is the tower. We've got a little plane taking off over there. And we've got some planes parked up. So what we got over there is the tower, the communications tower for all the aircraft as they come in and out. Air traffic control. Today we've got a couple of planes sitting around on the side. Looks like we're in for a treat today, because it looks like, because it's a nice day, they're all out and about, so should be quite good. And the building just over there on the left is the Wartime Museum, which I said we'll go down and have a look at as we go round. Let's just have a look. We've got an aeroplane coming down here this moment in time. This area they tend to they've changed it a bit. They've got a few hangars and stuff, so and then we've got a beautiful aircraft sitting here, which I say looks pretty old. So I see this one's been towed out, so I don't know if it's out being flown or if it's just here as a museum piece, but I see or if that's just the way they pin them to the ground, who knows? The way they padlock them, keep them safe. I'm imagining nobody's going to jump in one of these and take off in one of these. So the airfield's used as a private airfield. They also do things like you can come and do sponsored parachute jumps and stuff like that here. In fact, there's quite a few old aircrafts here. There looks like a load more just around there, over there. So you can see the gentleman over at the back there on the white aeroplane. That's the refueling spot. And it is absolutely beautiful. It's nice and breezy, so it's not too hot, and the windsock agrees with us too. So we'll have another look at that tower as we get a little bit closer. There's a cafe in the tower and stuff, which is really what I call the motorway services for the sky. This, because a lot of the aircrafts, they go up and down the country, and this is just a bit like a motorway services from, but it's not expensive and the food's a lot nicer. The cafe is really nice. No Marks and Spencers or somebody like that ripping you off here. Well, I don't know what that aeroplane sounds like it's doing, but it sounds like it's cutting the blooming grass. The fire department. And there's fill yourself up here, I expect. I don't quite know how it works. And look at these. Aren't they spectacular? I don't know if these are displays or... Last time we was here, we had the you know, the wing walkers, where you can jump, where you can do the sponsored stand on the top of the planes. They come in. They used to be the crunchy ones. I can't remember what they were called these days. I know they've been called several different things over the years. So whether they've just used it as a pit stop. When we go and have a look in the CAF, we might see all the pilots sitting up there, and because these ones they don't look like they've got a little towing point on, so we might get to see these ones take off in a bit. We've got somebody setting up on the runway in the background over there, just so you see him going back. There's another view of the tower from this side, from the front. We have helicopters coming here too. Last time we were here, there was like an helicopter right where we could get right up to it and have a look, and it's just nice to have a look at things you don't get to see every day, isn't it? You know, these are just little dots in the sky as they fly by normally, so it's nice to come and have a look. There you go. So we've got one setting off now. I couldn't see whether you could see that on the camera, so I don't know whether you watched him take off or if I just followed the field up. We'll have a couple of different goes anyway. So we're just going to watch the little guy who's just refueled, see where he's going to go, as I know we can see him up close at the moment, and I can see him on the camera, and we'll follow him and just see where he goes, if he's going to go and take off. And there's quite a few aeroplanes at the moment flying around over our heads and doing their little things. Got another one coming up in on the left hand side now, as they taxi back up the runway, I suppose is the right word. you go. And he's coming up and he's parking just to the side of us. So as we got one parking up, we got another one just getting ready to do whatever they're gonna do. They're actually heading out towards the runway, so somebody going off on their flying lessons. So this is the one who's just come from the fueling point, who's just on the move. Looks like he's going to go and park up. We've still got the one sitting there, a taxi, waiting to go onto the runway. Just so I turned the camera off, somebody come up the actually in front of him and took off. So that's why he's sitting there waiting at the moment in time, I expect. So we just, as I look at these, I'm assuming these are German planes. Well, they've got a German badge on the back, so they are German planes. Overlooking the obvious. Well, I think that's German. I say. So I think the writing's on German on them. You can just work that out on the front. Nice if you just go out for a fly in Dad's plane today, eh? So as we were approaching the airfield before, we noticed that there's quite a few abandoned buildings around here that look like they could have been done with something to do with the airfield during the war and stuff like that. So we'll come back and have a look at some of these buildings and maybe be able to do an abandoned thing and see what we can get into and what we can have a look at. As long as we don't get chased by no dogs, we'll be fine. So wherever I stand, he seems to move the other way, and that plane seems to be in the way. So we've got one at the bottom at the moment. It's getting ready to go on the bottom of the runway. And as I pan round to the bottom of the airfield and stuff over there, I believe they're all hangars and stuff down there at the bottom. There is a farm down there as well, where all the aircraft are kept. Yeah, I'm assuming that once this one's taken off, that one will get ready to taxi into place. So we've got the one who's just coming up the runway now, which is very hard to pick up on this screen, but I'm sure we've got it in view. Either one like Even though this screen gives
there's
you...
one landing over there.
Oh, right, okay, and we've got one coming in now. He's just coming in to land. I was going to say, he looks like he's going to take off again. And up into the sky he goes. I'm assuming that's part of the training that they're doing, touchdown, take off. As I said, you can take your pilot's license out here. So, it's absolutely beautiful out here. So the next one sets himself up and gets ready to take off. And we'll go and have a nose around the museum in a minute and see how that looks these days. So we're just standing just outside the museum, and the first thing is they got a nice little plaque for all the soldiers who have died in the wars, who have died here at the airfield. Average age was 20 to 22, and there's a couple on there a little bit older. It's a shame so many people lost their lives at a young age in those times. But it's nice to still know they're still remembered. So we're going to walk down the side of these buildings now, and we're going to head on into the museum and have a look inside the museum. So first things we come to is an old push bike and the old fire hose. Oh, I know you're saying that. Look, a couple of bombs here. You wouldn't want one of them going off on the top of your house, would you? So, an old bell there. Bell's got a bit of a ring. Gotta give it a ring. Let's annoy everyone. So as we step into the museum, the first thing we see is a selection of aircraft motors. So a Pratt & Whitney double wasp from a Thunderbolt. I'm sure it'll make sense to somebody, it just doesn't to me. And it says Bristol Hercules from a Vickers Wellington. I'm assuming these are all from crashed aircraft because they're not in very good shape. It's pretty much a room full of motors. Let's just have a quick look along here. Some handbooks, some different badges and berets from different personnel. Post office saving book. Pretty fascinating stuff like this does fascinate me from the war. It's a lovely place to come and visit. There's quite a bit of information here, so if you've got nothing to do, don't forget, come down, pay this place a visit, because I imagine this isn't on the scope of many people. And it's these little places where you need to come and visit, and because it's the places we ought to keep open. And I believe this is funded by a charity, So it's free to walk around here, so it's definitely worth, as I said, coming down. If you've got nothing to do and you live around Shrewsbury, Shropshire, this is a fantastic place to come and spend an hour. If you've got kids, the kids will love it, watching the planes coming in and out. I said you can take them over the back there and give the horses a little bit of a stroke. They'll love it. Yeah, little calf on the top, which isn't too expensive or anything like that, so which we will go and have a look in. Look at the size of that thing. A red top missile armament of Lightnings and Sea Vixens. That looks like it could travel some distance, doesn't it? So anyway, so what we got? Oh. I haven't got a clue what these are. Okay, these are parts of an HP Halifax. Looks like these are pictures of I don't know if these are actually the parts as they found them. Have they dug them up, or if these are just examples of the parts? Wheel off the bottom of a plane. I know what that part is. There's a throttle and all the stuff like that. The windscreen off the front. Do you know what? This is in a lot better condition, this museum, than I thought it would, than I remembered it in my head. It is a beautiful little place. So much information here on the stuff about aeroplanes and about the war and stuff, and you know, everyone always goes to Cosford. Don't get me wrong, I know Cosford's it's got all the big planes and stuff up, but this is beautiful. And it's free. The old wartime jackets. They have bomber jackets. Be round in fashion again soon then, you know how it goes. And we're going to have a room in the fireman's suits. We've got the odd uniforms from the RAF. Yeah, I'll give you a quick glimpse and a quick overlook of it all. Obviously I don't want to show you everything in the museum, because it'd be one of them, it'd ruin it for your visit. But I do recommend coming out here if you've got nothing to do. I think they even put on an air show at a certain time of year. Maybe we can come back and have a look at that. Now I've got my camera, that is the object of it. Don't stay in, get your backside outside and enjoy life. Let's not sit on the sofa. So it's good the way they put a little model of the aeroplane that all the parts are off and everything. It's if you do like aeroplanes, this is a fantastic place to come. pilot's chair, is it? An Avron Anderson seat. It doesn't look like a pilot seat, does it? Oh, we got the top of, just walk straight past this thing. See him in the old wartime films where they slide these backwards and forwards, and look, in they get. I don't want to touch it anymore. I need 2 hands for that, but see a wing without its outer covering on. Let's have a look what that's from. Starboard tail plane. It'd be interesting to meet some of the guys and see where all this stuff has come from. If it's from all over the country, or if it's stuff they found around here. The size of the wheels on that, so I'm going to say, I'm assuming they're off some quite big plane. The Mosquito. Another seat of an aeroplane, wireless operator's seat, Hadley Page, Halifax. Oh. They didn't look comfy, did they? They could have done with a couple of springs or something. Oh, look at that. So easy to kind of just walk past something and not see it, like some machine guns. It is one of those where you've got to look in every cabinet. There's just so much information here really, so if you're a bit of an enthusiast, then get yourself down here. This is Sleap Airport. These all to do with transmissions, transmission kite set. The things they used to do in the war and to get the head over the opposition is crazy. Fire extinguisher. They've changed a bit these days. As I said, there's just so much stuff here. You look on the walls and there's uniforms, fire suits, old flying suits, you know, books. There is so much information here, and it's places like this that should be kept open, because our history is really important, you know, both sides of the war. Like a selection of, they look like light bulbs. I don't know what they are, things like capacitors and things like that, but wow. Now, I'm not too sure what this is. Is this a camera? Let's have a look. A photographic aerial camera. Wow, look at that. Look at the size of the thing. And can you see the reflection of mine in the screen? How technology's changed. But wow. Okay, I think that's pretty much it that I'm going to show you from this room. Some more caps, and we're going to head back down the other way at the moment. I think there was a bit of a glider section. We'll go and have a look down there. So we're just approaching the lecture room, which has got the glider exhibition in. Which, looking at it, it's only a small little room, but gliders was something that we used a lot in the war to get us behind the enemy lines and stuff like that. So there's not much in this room, but then again, I suppose gliders are a lot more delicate of an aircraft, and once they crash, there's a lot less to find. Some more. Is that how they steer them? Wow. So this is a pretty interesting piece of kit, which you've all obviously seen gliders and you've seen them in the war films now. Obviously they had to work out how to load them, and this little device, you can work out where you're going to stick all your load and where you're going to stick your people. Fantastic. More dials and buttons and switches and some bullets. Old wire and cable. A few different badges from the different corps. So there isn't much more else to see in this room. I think they also use this room for amateur radio things that they do. I've seen when last time we come up there was an amateur radio project sitting up here. So I don't know what else is left to see, so we'll take a wander around and see what else I can find. If I can find anything else there is to show you, then I'll switch you back on and show you. If not, then we'll see you back outside. It's getting a bit warm in here, to be honest, on the hottest day of the year. So I'll see you in a bit. So that is it pretty much for here inside the Wartime Museum, just on the outskirts, just on the outside, not the outskirts, but as you just go to leave, a little donations box. Let's give them a little donation. Thank you very much for letting us through. It's been pretty amazing. So let's go back outside. Oh. You know what? It's warm inside, but it's even warmer outside. Right, we're going to go for another walk round shortly. See what's changed. Might even go up into the cafe in a minute. So we'll see you all in a bit. So we just finished our walk around the museum. There wasn't really anything else to see left in there, really. So we've pretty much seen anything there is to see at this little airfield. We missed an helicopter taking off before, but we couldn't run across in time and get the pictures. Now it is an absolutely beautiful day here today with all the different aeroplanes, and it is absolutely roasting. So thank you very much for joining us on the very first Don't Stay In, and hopefully we'll be putting another video for you to come and join us soon. Take care, see you soon, bye bye. Cut.